Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, from NBC award-winning journalist Rahima Ellis, singer-songwriter and recording star Prince Royce, and the Tony-nominated actress from Hamilton, Philippa Soo.
At WFYI Public Media, American Graduate means starting kids on a path to graduation early and staying with them every step of the way. Together, we can make a difference. American Graduate.
Let's make it happen!
WFYI in Indiana has it right. We need to be there for students every step of the way. Hi, I'm Hakeem Oluseyi. I wouldn't have found my career in astrophysics and technology if it wasn't for key mentors in my life. Over this next half hour, we're going to look at the role of STEAM in education. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. One group leading the way from the earth to the skies is 4-H. Every day, 4-H clubs bring science to life for more than 4 million young people. The amazing mentors at 4-H clubs have been building leaders and nurturing deep interest in science for over 100 years. Add into the equation NASA, the nation's greatest space science program, and we've got an unbeatable combination. Launching our discussion is a 4-H alum and fellow lover of space, astronaut Peggy Whitson.
Hi, I'm astronaut Peggy Whitson. As a member of 4-H, I completed numerous hands-on projects, and most importantly for me, a very shy kid, was learning that I was able to do public speaking. 4-H helped me to overcome my own hurdles to become a team player and a leader. Experiences such as these and others offered through 4-H help empower young people and give them the skills to lead for a lifetime. As an astronaut and a former 4-H member, I know NASA and 4-H recognize the importance of STEM and share a commitment to educate students and prepare them for the future. 4-H provides unique programs to give youth the opportunity to learn about STEM through hands-on projects and experience careers through real-world professional activities, ranging from aerospace engineering to robotics to veterinary science and hydroponics. NASA Education's mission is to advance high-quality STEM education using NASA's unique resources. From sending experiments to space, to launching rockets, to participating in engineering design challenges, learners are immersed in STEM content and concepts, so you can get involved in 4-H just like I did. And who knows where your experiences may take you.
Dr. Peggy Whitson is an awesome example of what is accomplished when science, technology, engineering, arts, and math all work in harmony. I'm pumped to be talking with our first guest, Thaddeus Hughes, the 4-H Youth in Action STEM Pillar Award winner, the club's highest honor. Thad is now a sophomore at one of the great tech colleges, Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. Thad, let's jump right in.
All right. Let's begin.
So you grew up on a farm in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
How does science and technology apply to the day-to-day operations of the farm?
Well, it applies more now than ever. The number one push for getting ag involved with technology is we're running up against limits with what we can do with the existing land that we have. If we want to increase yields, a lot of it comes down to better managing the existing resources we have. Precision planting is helping a lot with things, developing and working on new traits to add to corn and soybeans, and even existing modifications to combines and tractors so that we don't lose as much seeds in the processes. It's really amazing how much technology is involved with ag.
Wow, that's awesome. And what has 4-H done for you?
4-H has done personally for me that it's created an environment for me to go out and learn more about things that interest me. I was interested in rocketry and robotics and electricity when I was young, like 10. And through 4-H, I was actually able to go out and learn about these things at a higher level than just, okay, here's some magic electricity. You actually get your hands on it and learn about the underlying principles behind it. What is actually voltage, what is current, how does power work, and you get to go out and put your hands on things rather than just learning about things from a classroom setting.
That's right, experiential learning is what we call that, right?
Yes, experiential learning is huge, and that is central to the idea of what 4-H tries to promote.
And actually, that's how humans have learned for centuries.
There is no better way to learn than by actually going out and get your hands on something.
All right, so you've gone from being a 4-H member to a 4-H mentor. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, when I was back in like 8th grade, I was competing in a 4-H run robotics competition. I aged out of that competition actually, but there was a lot of my other friends who were a little bit younger and were still able to compete with that. I still wanted to be involved, so I thought, hey, why not mentor this team? That's really when everything got started towards me leading other people and teaching them about things rather than just doing the things myself. I was beginning to learn how to work with others and teach others. That evolved into several other things. Right now we run a FIRST robotics competition for high schoolers where we build 120-pound giant aluminum robots, and a FIRST LEGO League competition for middle school schoolers where they build robots out of Legos that are about so big.
Yeah. So why are robots such a great way to teach kids?
I believe robots are great for a number of reasons. The first is you get to immediately see what is going on. There's a huge attraction to robots just because of the shock and awe value, of course. Right. Everyone likes to see a robot run. So it's a great way to get people involved in seeing that they can actually do something. Secondly is the interdisciplinary aspect of it. Robotics brings in people from electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, software, sometimes chemical. It brings all in sciences, physics, it brings all the fields together to produce products. It's a very interdisciplinary field. All right,
this has been great. I could talk technology and engineering all day as I'm just really starting to get my geek on. In our next segment from Orlando, you'll meet an extraordinary champion using technology to ease the pain of some very special students. Then we'll visit a unique school where expert corporate mentoring is used to train students for a career in technology.
I'm proud to be an American Graduate Champion because children with critical illness have a right to live a life of their own choosing that they have reason to value, and the gateway for that in large part is mathematics.
Critically ill children like Grayson can miss out on weeks or months of school, but Dr. Nichols is dedicated to helping children keep on track and learn mathematics through robotics.
When I met Dr. Nichols, my grades were low at the time, and she helped me learn more things with the robots and math, and it just helped my grades go to from really low to A+.
I show Grayson what an expert learner does. When I don't know something, what are the actions that I take? And then Grayson mirrors that.
In addition to education, the robot sessions serve as a distraction and provide encouragement.
I'm thinking about the robots and I'm not thinking about chemo, and it just really helps a lot.
The mentoring aspect of that is showing them that they're worthy, that their illness doesn't preclude them from becoming a great scientist, a great thinker, a great STEM innovator. I mean, it's just so meaningful for them.
My name is Shadon Brown. I'm 16 years old. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a senior at P-Tech.
My name is Rashid Farad Davis. I am the founding principal of Pathways in Technology Early College High School, P-Tech for short. P-Tech is a public-private partnership that includes the New York City Department of Education, the City University of New York City College of Technology specifically, and IBM, all working collaboratively to give students a pathway from high school through college to industry.
While you're in high school, you'll also take college classes and ultimately end up graduating with your high school diploma and a 2-year associate's degree. I'm
Xavier Williams, and I'm going on to my sophomore year. When I heard about P-Tech, my mom walked in and she said, the president went to this school in Brooklyn, so I have to go there. She kind of made the choice for me,
We do see lots of students who are interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, but then you also get some students who say, well, you know what, I'm not really interested in technology, but I know I want to attend college.
I didn't know anything about coding before P-Tech. Now I'm taking a class and I'm just like, oh, I can read that. I know what it says. It's so cool.
Well, I heard you'll be able to make games or applications to help you out, so what I thought is maybe I could do that. The way I dress makes me feel more positive and gives me confidence about myself. My app would give you ideas from your style that you have or the style that you would like to have.
Innovation really happens when you give access and opportunity to those who have not generally had it. And industry serves as a motivation to push the envelope. We give an immediate context for students with a mentor from grade 9.
We do get a lot of stuff put on our plate, but it's never hard for you to get help.
I was assigned a mentor. Whenever I talk to him, I feel that we're like family. We became close, and I feel like I have someone to always rely on.
So we're telling students, yes, it will be academically rigorous, but we are expecting them to still be connected with other activities that will help them socially and emotionally develop as teenagers.
After school, I'm on the track team, so I go to track practice. I also was part of the robotics club.
Soccer, to me, is fun. I have to learn how to be patient and take time to watch the person before I make my move. I have a lot to learn, and I like the process.
We've seen students, because of having the opportunity to take technology classes, to have the industry mentor, to go to work site visits, to really rethink possibilities for their future.
My internship at IBM was the research department. The one thing I wasn't expecting was actually wanting to stay past the time that we were allotted. I was like, can you just give us more work? Can we do overtime or something?
Every single day that I leave school, go home, I see the sense of urgency of why P-Tech matters, of why we must move faster to redefine what success looks like in students' communities. A good idea and support really has great potential to change generations.
After P-Tech, I hope to have my own business.
After P-Tech, I'm just really excited to continue going into the computer science field. I'm just really happy to know that I have a great opportunity in front of me and so many roads that I can take ahead.
There are now 60 P-Tech schools across 6 states with more than 250 industry partners, including IBM. Our next guests are with us to talk about the importance of music education, the A in STEAM, to both the minds of students and the academic soul of a school. Since 1997, VH1 Save the Music Foundation has provided new musical instruments and support to almost 2,000 schools that are willing to create a music program, thus improving the lives of millions of students. Joining me from New Haven, Connecticut are Jocelyn Hernandez, a college music student, and her former high school teacher, Patrick Smith. I'm glad you both are here.
Thanks for having us
Thank
here
you
today.
very much.
Thank you. So, Patrick, how does music connect into your school's everyday curriculum?
Well, at a magnet school, it's required that the teachers actually learn to work together. And one of the things that we do is plan interdisciplinary projects, interdisciplinary practices, sharing of vocabulary, all kinds of things that reinforce the arts through the academics.
Wonderful. I'm an astrophysicist, and I was also a high school musician. It played a huge role. So, Jocelyn, tell me, what was it like when VH1 Save the Music program first came to your school?
Well, for me, it was actually in 5th grade, so it was in middle school. And back then, I didn't even know really all the instruments that you could possibly play as a little kid, ever. And to me, like, it coming into my school definitely helped me get out more, be less shy, communicate with other peers in other grades because we were a combined grade band. And it really got me to express my emotions a little more other than just being shy in a corner, doing some homework or doing a worksheet. It like really brought out a whole community that I didn't know about. So without that, I would have known like none of my best friends that I have to this day. So definitely was a big thing for me.
That's wonderful. So Patrick, your school has an amazing academic record, and apparently somehow the music program has contributed to that. Could you expand on that a little?
I should say so. at the risk of blowing our horn a little loudly, we are down the street from Yale University. And we have enjoyed the help of student mentors from Yale coming to work with our students. We have been able to take a lot of our students over to Yale for special classes and performances and all sorts of activities. And with the advent of the program with VH1, the students that have come up have had opportunities they might never have had.
Wonderful.
And
so I heard a story that somehow your music program has an overlap with my field of astrophysics. Could you tell us about that?
When I teach music, one of the things you need to do as a teacher is to make the subject interesting, especially if students are coming to it, new, like you did. So one of the things that I will do is look at the music of the spheres, and we'll do the math to figure out what pitch some of the planets might have. One of my former teachers at the Yale School of Music, named Willie Ruff, actually went to the astrophysics department at Yale, and with a man there, calculated the pitches of the planets.
Wonderful.
And came up with the cosmic chord,
Wow.
if you want to. And we relate that to the spectrum of sound, going all the way through audible notes, the math that you need to get that. Then you learn to play it on your clarinet. And you take it a step further and you say, wow, if you accelerate this even further, you actually get to visible light.
Wonderful. So Jocelyn, you mentor kids in music and are studying to become a music teacher yourself.
Yes.
Why?
Well, to me, music brought out a lot. And to me, coming from a community where it is a little lower class at best with some programs, I wanted to show kids that even though we come from a certain district or a certain place or we have a certain condition at home, there's a community that's going to be there with us for the rest of our lives. And to me, I just want to share all the dreams and the hopes and everything that I've had with kids that have the same dream, just don't know where to start. So to me, becoming a music teacher definitely helps in a way.
So how did your music teacher help you? What did Mr. Smith and your teachers do for you? Yeah.
They've done a lot, that's for sure. I call him Smith, so he has helped definitely a lot. He's helped me get out more. I never liked to solo. My high school is kind of a jazz band in the beginning. We do have wind ensemble, but throughout the 4 years, you are in jazz band. And I was never an improvised soloist. I was like, I'm a classical player. There's no way I'm going to do that. But with his help and him showing me the chords and scales and how to achieve a sense that I can actually achieve that really helped me. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
It must feel good to hear that. So tell me this. A lot of times we're hearing today that music programs are being eliminated from schools. What do we lose?
We lose the individual laboratory of growth. What I just heard you say was that you learned who you were.
Yeah.
And through the abstraction of music, being able to learn math, being able to learn about history, geography, through that lens of the arts is critical.
Yes.
And without that, you're taking away everything.
Patrick and Jocelyn, thank you both for teaching the music, playing the music, and for helping us save the music. With the help of one passionate mentor at a time, VH1 Save the Music is sparking students' imagination and academic creativity. From the highs of science and space to the lows of a band's bass lines, we've been talking about the importance of a STEAM education. I'm happy to shout out that powered by the 500,000 American graduate champions from 4-H, our total has risen to 2,444,272, and we have liftoff. If you would like to find an opportunity to be a mentor in your area, it's very easy. Just go to americangraduate.org and click Be a Mentor in the homepage carousel. You'll be directed to the Mentoring Connector database. Just type in your information and preferences, and you'll be provided with a list of mentoring opportunities in your community. Next up is a word from the new voice of Bashada. Then visit a bus that continues the legacy and work of John Lennon.
What's up, guys? I'm Prince Royce, and it's great to be a part of American Graduate Day. I think we all need a mentor, and my mentors in my life till this day are my parents. I feel like they were the ones that are always guiding me. They give me their opinion, they tell me what they feel, and it was, it's easy to kind of fall into the negativity, and it's easy to kind of be a follower and do things that your friends are doing, but I think if it wasn't for my parents to really be there and stay positive with me, I would have never gone into music. You know, I started writing songs, I started writing poetry. So I think peers and family members in school is really important. I think you need to find that mentor, that person that you look up to, that motivates you to take it to the next level and do better in life. It was really exciting to go back to my high school. You know, I saw a lot of kids that really share the same ambition, the same dream when we're under that roof in that high school, and it was good to see so much talent. You know, I think it's super cool that the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus provides opportunities to be hands-on with the kids and letting them just create. And I think it's super cool when you walk into that bus and you see that it's literally a moving studio. It's a full working studio. You can record a song, you can produce a song, you can write the song, and I think that's great that the Lennon Bus is providing this for kids around the country. Become an American Graduate Champion. Sé un mentor.
And I've made my way onto the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus, which is just so cool. It really travels city to city, introducing students to the state-of-the-art technology that's used to create music. Brian Rothschild is the executive director. First off, it's just a really cool bus. Tell me how you guys are working with educators.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great to be here. So this is our 19th year of the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus. We have 3 crew members who live on board this bus. They travel around the U.S. about 10.5 months a year. We interface with school superintendents and local and state governments. Even the U.S. federal government, the Department of Education, has developed stops with us. So when we get to schools, we're working with students to create original music, video, short films, documentaries, live stream events, all using the amazing state-of-the-art technology that's on board.
Really cool. You talked about some of those projects the students create on the bus. What kind of high-tech gear is on here to help them do that?
I mean, we have all the latest Mac Pros, all the most amazing Canon cameras, Gibson guitars, keyboards, fantastic state-of-the-art tools that kids are excited to use because they know a little bit about production. They know the star that's in the center of the stage, but they really don't realize that there are all these great career paths in audio, video, and broadcast that are well suited for them, and if they don't know about it, they're never going to go in that direction. So we kind of spark that inspiration for them.
Yeah, you make a really great point there. Music is so fun. A lot of kids are interested in it. It's still a science, though. Talk about the engineering behind it.
Yeah, so for some of the kids, they've already been participating in creating audio and video, maybe just on their phones. But if they want to get deeper, especially in audio, then there's a lot of new things that they need to learn about in physics and acoustical engineering, things that we had to consider in putting these studios together. So if they're at the level that is ready for that, then they're spending their day learning more deeply about those elements.
Really cool. And of course, today is all about mentoring. So talk about how mentoring and collaboration goes into music.
Well, that's really what the bus does best. So we're here in the front studio. Typically, we'll have a group of students who will start out their day here. They may know each other, they may not know each other. Whatever their backgrounds are, they're going to have to come together in a single day and create something original. So we've had many professionals and celebrity artists over the years who've been on board the bus, like Prince Royce, who was just here over the last couple of days. And the crew members who live on board are very experienced. They're really the angels, the mentors that are out on the road in the schools, really fighting the good fight. They come on board without their teachers, without their parents, and they're really collaborating to do something that's original and inspired by John Lennon's legacy.
Which is so important. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian, telling us about the bus. This is really cool and doing great work for so many students. So guys, remember, we want to hear your stories of mentoring today. Head over to social media and use the hashtag #AmGrad.
My name is Kelly Blair Hart. I have a 6-year-old that wants to be a science teacher at 6, and I think that's amazing because, you know, I remember at 6 and what my life was like at that point, and it wasn't, you know, positive. I was born here in Washington, D.C. I have a twin brother. We have been separated from our natural mom since about age 2. It was a difficult life growing up. My father was an alcoholic, and there were times when we were homeless, and just couldn't seem to get stability within our lives. I remember sleeping on a park bench that was like a couple blocks away from the school. What I dreamt about was where our next meal was coming. I had been suspended for multiple reasons, and I remember they told me, it was after one huge fight that I had, that this was going to be the one that was most likely going to expel me from school. And I do remember being in front of the school board and them asking you why you're not like everybody else. That I was a danger in their school system, and I couldn't be there. And I remember feeling, this is not me. But I had no way to express it. And if I could, would anybody believe it? There were so many times I just wanted to say, this is not me, and I know I can be regular. I know I can do this. I was sent to alternative education. And that didn't last too long either. I got sent out of there. And from there, I went to Job Corps. When I was at the Job Corps Center, I had the roof over my head. I had, food. I didn't have to worry about that. And then that was the time where I was able to think past day-to-day living and surviving. That program allowed you to take the GED test one part at a time. And so I remember focusing on just the reading, focusing on just the writing, and that's when I found out that I have a skill for writing. And so I began writing stories while being at Job Corps with a teacher that helped me. That was the first time where I felt important. Important in the aspects of education. For the first time, a teacher, was telling me that I had something special going on. And I latched on to that. And so I began employment at the local retail store. And I remember one day, one of my coworkers, I will never forget her name, Carla, and she noticed the ability for drawing that I had. And she said to me, you should go over to the community college and take an art class. And I remember my exact remarks to her was, no, thank you. Education and I don't get along, and that's not what I want to do. And I said, Carla, I didn't make it through high school. I have a GED. There's no way I'm going to take a course at a community college, even if it is just art. And I refused. She picked me up for work because I wasn't driving. Instead of going to work, she took me straight to the registration for Northern Virginia Community College and paid for that first art class and took it with me, just so I wouldn't be alone with it. And that's how I began my community college career. Remember, you have to stack 5 liquids in here. When I started teaching alternative education, I realized I had something here that could motivate a lot more students than I thought. In order to grab those students, I began talking and telling them about myself. And that motivated them. And I realized I have something here, that would capture them.
You want to try to pour the green yourself? All right, gentle. Remember.
They automatically assumed that I had everything and always had everything and that, my life was just perfect. That shocked me. But then I realized they have no idea what I've been through. They have no idea that, I know what it's like to be hungry. Yes, I know what it's like to have an alcoholic parent. Yes, I know what it's like to be living on food stamps. And yes, I know what it's like to have to go to a church to get your next meal. And I just blurted it all out, standing in front of that class for the first time, and you could see the mouths hitting the floor. And my students just were amazed at the fact that I had come from that background to where I am.
I can do this, Miss Hart. You don't like me?
I got
Look
it.
at that. My face. Look how beautiful that is. My hands.
I should have put more blue.
You still can.
Can I get my bottle?
I need more.
My nuzzled their bellies with his nose and...
Katrina, my daughter, her life will be completely different than mine. And I feel that she will never know how it feels to struggle or to be homeless. And she knows that she is loved and supported.
Screaming. Sometimes Katrina shrieks very loudly.
Because of who we are, my husband and I, and because we're so into education and the importance of education, she will never know what it feels like to think that you're so different that you're not cared about.
Are you laying down?
Because I was tired. All right, so.
It's for books.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
WUCF is proud to be a part of American Graduate Day.
American Graduate sheds light on the challenges
and discusses solutions to keep students on the path to a high school diploma.
We showcase meaningful stories
from our community and from across the country
that build understanding,
provide perspective,
and promote positive change.
We highlight the champions
and organizations working hard to help young people succeed.
From early education
to career options,
American Graduate is an effort that the whole nation
can support together.
American Graduate. Let's make it happen.
Thanks to WUCF in Central Florida for supporting American Graduate Day. Hi, everybody. I'm Rahima Ellis. In this half hour, we'll discuss the very difficult topic of dropout prevention and re-engagement, starting with a story out of Chicago, a city that has been in the news this year due to a dramatic increase in violent crime. 3 years ago, the YMCA of Chicago launched a program unlike anything else you're used to seeing at the Y. It's called Urban Warriors. It pairs some of the Chicago's most at-risk youth with post-9/11 U.S. combat veterans in a truly inspiring 16-week mentoring program. Take a look.
Urban Warriors is a program that bridges the gap between troubled youth who are at risk for violence all throughout Chicago and veterans who have also experienced similar instances of violence and shootings, having served in combat or in a combat zone. It feels great to be able to share my experiences and my stories and how I overcame certain situations and being able to deliver that story to someone who's really open to my advice. And I think the fact that they're open is because that we are veterans. And so it feels great to be in the Urban Warrior program.
My advice to veterans is that if you still want to continue to fight the battle, fight the fight in a positive way, and mean something to the community, mean something to yourself and to your families, become a mentor. It'll change your life, and it'll change your life for others, and you'll feel very proud of it.
This is good stuff. Joining us in the studio today from the city of Chicago, our retired Corporal Joey Azim, along with his mentee, high school senior Cesar Torres. Thanks to both of you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Joey, I want to start with you and first to say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You volunteered and served in the Marines for 4 years, and you saw some pretty tough action in Iraq. Now you volunteered for a new mission called Urban Warriors. What do they do?
Sure. So Urban Warriors, it's a 16-week-long program. It was originally started by the YMCA's Metro Chicago's Youth Safety Violence Prevention Initiative. So it's one of several mentorship programs. Every week, it's a 16-week program. Every week, post-9/11 vets and youth from at-risk communities, we come together and we focus on specific topics each week.
Tell me, what are some of those specific topics?
Sure. So some of those topics might be dealing with trauma or just the violence that we see. Or another week might be how you handle what manhood means and the responsibilities of being a man and what that entails. And one really interesting thing, too, is this fall cohort, we're actually running 4 different groups of vets and youth. And one of the 4 groups is actually a female cohort. Oh. So we have female vets paired up with female youth. So instead of talking about manhood, they're talking about womanhood and what it means to be a woman, which we're really excited about.
I'm excited about that, too. Yeah. Don't want to leave the women out. Cesar, what are some of the issues you and your guys are facing in the neighborhood?
Well, where I live at, it's just, the violence, and all the wrong people that, that are right there next to the positive, and, there's always more positive than negative, but we always keep, my friends and, and others, in good perspectives, hey, let's, go play sports or keep something bad off our minds.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. And Joey, you served again in a combat zone in Iraq. Right. So how do you feel when you heard that Cesar and his friends have to live with violence every day?
I grew up in kind of that typical suburbia, and the most dangerous thing in my neighborhood growing up was someone rolling through a stop sign. So when I joined Urban Warriors and I heard Cesar's story and the stories of the other youth
that are part of the program, I was shocked. I kind of feel like I sort of had my head in the sand about a lot of these issues going on around me. And I feel like I'm kind of now a voice for, what's going on in several of the communities in Chicago.
And Joey has shared some of his stories with you. How do you feel about hearing what he went through?
Well, it's amazing, It's amazing, He went for a mission over there, now he comes and does another mission with the youth, and also providing that time for us, and, learning from each other is just building more brotherhood and family, for us.
I like that. And Joey, you wear a bracelet, I understand,
Yes.
in honor of a friend and fellow Marine that you lost. How does your loss help you to relate to what Caesar is going through and his friends?
It's tough. The friend that I lost, Staff Sergeant Mark Gorzik, he was a Marine's Marine. He's what you see in the commercials, right? The Marine Corps commercials. And, we served together. He was a great guy, but he took his life due to PTSD. And I wish I knew it. I wish I knew he was going through these problems so I could be there for him. Just taking that experience, and Caesar at such a young age, he's lost friends. He knows of people that have been shot. He lives this day in and day out, and he's a kid. Kids shouldn't live through that. So,
how does knowing what he's been through, you lost a friend. How does it help you deal with your loss?
It's really, I really need, to talk to people, and know that, like going out, it's helped me, and clearly, to talk to other people and other people could help me too, and, provide help for me.
I want to know, Caesar, can you tell us what Joey has meant to you real quick?
Like, more like an uncle for me or more, it's just, he been there for the long run since the first weeks and to the last, and even for, we've been.
That's wonderful. Thank you both for coming in and sharing your stories with us. Thank you. The pull of the streets and of gangs can blind a student to the long-term benefits of high school graduation. Urban Warriors reinforces that hope and much more through powerful mentoring. Our next two stories show another side of mentoring. First, we want to meet an American graduate champion from New Mexico, then another champion coming back to his old neighborhood to work with a great national organization, City Year.
Here at Bernalillo High School, we're in central New Mexico. We cater to about 7 different tribes. It's 42% Native American students here at Bernalillo High School. Some of our students face different barriers. One of the major barriers would be their economic status. Some of the tribes here have to chip in for their students. There are still kids in this country that don't have all the tools they need to be successful and reach that 4-year graduation point. I myself walked through their shoes as a student here at Bernalillo High School.
Lorelei does a lot of work here, and she wears many different hats. Primarily, she serves as our Native American liaison here for our Native American students. She works with them in terms of attendance, in terms of grades, trying to get them connected with different activities on our campus, whether it's athletics, whether it's sports, clubs, whatever it might be, because we know that when students are connected on campus, they're more likely to be successful.
A lot of our Native American students aren't comfortable with meeting with our non-Native counseling staff. Kids come into my office and we start with, how was your day, or how's your mom, or how's your grandpa? Each student has a story. You never know when one conversation you have with a student can change the rest of their 4 years in high school.
Growing up, I did pretty well. I got good grades. But when I got to college, I realized that I was really far behind. Thinking about it now, let's say if I have this role model who looks like me and I can relate to in the classroom, I think that would have been a big help for me. So I want to be there so I can help those students get to where they need to be. My name is Byron Flores, and I'm serving at MS-302 in the South Bronx. What made me want to serve in the neighborhood I grew up was the culture. Serving in the Bronx, I can relate more to the students, and the students can relate more to me. City Year came up. They were doing a recruiting event at my school. I checked it out, and I like the fact that they're there from the time that the kids come in to the time that they leave. And I really wanted to work with kids in a place where I take charge. Teachers have 30 kids, and there's only one of them. But when you're in there, You get to address the kids who are not engaged, have their head down, and you get to come up with creative ways to engage them in the lesson. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's rewarding. One of my favorite students is Gideon. He came from Africa, and he has a lot of trouble with English. He feels kind of left out, and often he shuts down when he can't do the English work. So I've been working with Gideon since day one. Gideon is the type of kid who has a lot of enthusiasm, and he brings joy to the whole team. Like, just seeing Gideon smile, it brightens up everyone's day. He comes to school before us. Gideon is here in front of the school waiting for me, and we'll sit outside and do the homework. I'm more like a role model now, someone who's there outside of the school setting, someone who he can talk to. Gideon has gained an immense amount of confidence. He tries his hardest to get his ideas out. He went from not being able to write a sentence to be able to write whole paragraphs on his own. Owning your leadership skills while being in City Year and actually getting to see how your leadership skills affect other people can give you confidence. And that confidence carries on into your job, your relationships, it carries on into everything you do in life. I realized through City Year that changing one student, it makes a difference. I feel like if I weren't there, Gideon would still be the kid in the back of the class with his head down and not getting the attention that he deserves. Just by instilling confidence in him to be able to even try English, I feel like I made a difference in him. The red jacket is powerful, and I realized it by just walking down the street. People respect you. People know who you are. People know what you do. When they see someone who's actually gone out and seen the world, they notice that someone from the South Bronx has a fair chance.
Gideon and Byron, what an army of fabulous work they've got going on there. Education in high poverty communities too often ends with a shockingly high dropout rate. For more than 25 years, City Year mentors like Byron Flores are partnering with public schools to keep students in school and on the path to graduation. Violence and poverty can crush a student's dream of graduation. And sadly, in every town across the country, there's a growing population of homeless students. More than 1.2 million homeless students, you hear that? The 1.2 million students are focused more on hunger and safety than education. The Monarch School in San Diego is a K-12 public school exclusively for homeless youth. When Monarch needed a new location, the well-known civic organization Rotary stepped in. The school is now redefining how communities address the education of homeless students. So I have the pleasure now of welcoming Erin Spiewak, who's a Monarch School CEO, and Cynthia Valenzuela, a Monarch alumna. Ladies, thank you for being here. This is great. Erin, tell me, when you started with Monarch School, you started as a volunteer mentor.
I did.
What attracted you to the school?
Our students, they're such amazing individuals, and I had one volunteer activity at the school, and during that hour that I spent there, I was just hooked. And that was about 15 years ago, and I've been involved with the school ever since.
That's quite a hook.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how the Rotary Club really helps Monarch's mission.
Yeah, so Rotary is a group of actually 1.2 million global members, and their mission is to give back to the community through volunteer service. So as you mentioned, we were in a difficult position where we were losing our current building and there was a huge need in our community. Rotary members immediately mobilized and found a new location for our school. They fundraised the funds needed to be able to renovate the facility. They started a nonprofit organization that began to support the school. And then they continue to this day to be mentors, volunteers, ambassadors for our organization.
This is fabulous. And Cynthia, tell me, when your family was first homeless, how did that impact your life?
You know, before we came to San Diego, we were on the other hand, where we were actually helping homeless people and families, and to be on the opposite end now, it was really hard, really tough as a family to go through something like that.
And today is September 17th, and what was it like 6 years ago on September 14th, 2010? It was your first day at the Monarch School.
I don't want to, you know, it was...
You take a deep breath.
Yeah. It was a life-changing day.
It really was, because I remember walking in there and, you know, feeling hopeless and sad and just angry at the situation. And as I looked around, all these kids were, you know, happy and smiling and playing, and it brought joy to me, you know, that no matter what was happening in their lives, you know, they were still pressing on and, you know, living day by day and keeping that smile on their face.
And it told you what, in terms of what you could do?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And what do you think is the most important thing that MANA can give to students?
I think it's that hope for the future. As Cynthia mentioned, she was just focused on surviving, day to day meeting her basic needs. She's an amazing singer. She had sort of lost that joy of singing as her identity and her hope for the future. And by coming to Monarchy, we were able to meet her basic needs. We were able to provide her with a core curriculum in her academic, social, emotional work, but she also rediscovered who she was, what she had lost because of the terrible situation that she was in. And that's what I absolutely love about our organization.
And talking about mentors who helped you through this, I understand you had a great mentor, Andrew, help me.
Schlegel?
See, I knew you'd do it.
He goes by Mr. S for a reason.
Mr. S, you call him?
Yes.
What does he mean to you?
You know, he is amazing. He's helped not only me, but my siblings, and, you know, through so much, and he helped me rediscover who I am as an individual and helped me find my way back to music, which, you know, got me through so much through these past couple of years. So.
Wow. And if he had told you some 6 years ago that you would be doing so well, you'd end up in New York in a studio talking to me and inspiring other people, what would you have told him?
You know, I probably would have thought he was crazy. But, you know, it's been amazing how far I've come. So.
Well, we can't go back in time for you to tell him that you think he's crazy, but what if we bring him here for you to tell him, tell him yourself what you think of him? Mr. S.
Oh my God.
You got to be very proud of her. You're practically in tears. You practically got me in tears.
Oh
gosh.
I didn't expect to see it there.
I'm absolutely so proud of you, Cynthia.
Wow.
You never ever stop telling your story and writing your story, and you don't let the conditions of your life keep you where you're at, but you choose to write a new story with it. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited that we're here in New York, and that you continue to share your story, and you continue to share the gift that you have with the world. So thank you.
So much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He brings you to tears just to see him in terms of what he's meant to your life.
Mm-hmm. He's amazing. I mean, you brought so much back to me that I thought I had lost. A part of me that I thought I could no longer be, you know, wow. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
It's not over. You're going to keep going. It's going to be great.
I don't want to stop the moment, but I want you to tell me, what does it say about the power of mentoring? I kind of see it.
Yeah. It's amazing, and as equally amazing at Monarch School as our students is our staff, and almost everyone on campus has this kind of relationship with our students, and it's absolutely my honor and my pleasure to lead a group of individuals like Mr. S. To help ensure a better future for students like Cynthia.
Well, it's been our honor to have all of you here today. Thank you for sharing your remarkable story, how the Rotary Club and the Monarch School are confronting the challenges of educating homeless students. Throughout the day, we are acknowledging champions just like Andrew, Cynthia, and Aaron from critical organizations like Rotary. Now I get the pleasure of announcing that so far, the combined total of American graduate champions has grown to 4,098,772. That's a heck of a number. We've heard many motivational stories about mentorship, just like the Monarch School. If you want to find out more about the groups featured on this program, visit AmericanGraduate.org Grad Day for a full list of the organizations. And coming up next, Philippa Sue's story about how her mentor helped her become a Tony-nominated actress in Broadway's biggest hit.
Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now.
Hi, I'm Philippa Sue, and I am so excited to be a part of American Graduate Day. I had a lot of really amazing mentors when I was in acting school. I went to the Juilliard School, and one of my teachers there, who was my mentor, was Deb Lapidus. She was my singing teacher, and she taught me a lot about acting and storytelling, but I think the most important thing she taught me was how to be vulnerable, how to accept failure and embrace failure, and to learn from failure. And I definitely would not be where I am today without that experience. I had the privilege of portraying and originating the role of Eliza Hamilton on Broadway this past year. And I got to find out what the real Eliza did. I found out that she established the first private orphanage in New York City, which still exists today, and it's called Graham Wyndham. And they work with kids and their families all over the New York area. And in my research, I thought, why not take this opportunity to go and see what Eliza created? What was the legacy that she left behind? And I met a bunch of the students there and a lot of the faculty, and I was so inspired by that visit that I got together with one of my castmates, Morgan Marcel in Hamilton, and we created an arts program there called the Eliza Project. And we taught them music and singing and dancing and acting and improv, and we had a really great time working with them. And it made me realize that mentors and teachers are so important because they inspire you to be something more than yourself, to see something in yourself that you might not see alone. I guess I would just ask of you to be a mentor, to be an American graduate champion. And who knows, maybe even you could be a part of Eliza's legacy or make your own legacy.
Who tells your story?
And to tell us more about Eliza Hamilton's story is Jess Danhauser, who is the president of Grand Wyndham. It's the organization that Eliza Hamilton founded more than 200 years ago now, and such an amazing legacy, of course. Broadway's Hamilton has been such a big hit. How has that helped Grand Wyndham?
Oh, in so many ways. I like to say that Jeffrey Sellers and Lin-Manuel and Tommy Kail, they must be like St. Peter, because they only let people who are heavenly into that show. And they've been such angels to our kids. They've really spread the word and truly have told Eliza's story, which was a piece that really had never been told.
All right, so tell us about some of the obstacles that foster kids face.
Sure, our kids, many of our kids are in foster care, and the biggest obstacle for any child in foster care is that they don't have a stable loved one that is going to be with them for the rest of their life. So that's the first thing we do. We make sure we help family. We bring together their foster family, their parents, anyone in their life that can be that stable force. But we also think that mentoring, we call it coaching. We think that can be a stable force. So we commit to our kids to coach them until they're 25, no matter where they go. If they go home, if they go to family, if they get adopted, if they age out of care, we're going to be there for them with a coach.
Which is really important, of course, for them to have. Of course, research shows that foster kids have trouble graduating from college, from finding living wage jobs. How's your organization helping with that?
So our kids can't think about school, they can't think about college until they know they can think about their future. And so what we say to them is, we're with you. We are with you no matter what until you're 25. And what that does is settle them down and allow them to really believe in today, that today adds up to something, that every day that they're working, that we're going to be there and support them. For our kids, little trips can turn into catastrophes.
And talk about how mentors help with that.
So mentors, we have a young woman. She was a salutatorian in her high school in East New York, a brilliant young woman. All of our kids have enormous talent. It's hidden sometimes under lots of layers of trauma, but they all have promise. And so she graduated in her salutatorian, and her first year in college, she failed every single class in her first semester. And typically, she would have just stopped. But our coach sat with her, helped her understand that she's really smart. We got her a tutor, we wrapped support around her. Now she has a 3.5 and she's thriving.
Wow, and that's the stories that show the difference you guys are making. Thank you so much, Jess Danhauser, for joining us.
You bought 2 movie tickets, your friend cancels. What would you do, Jairi? Many students at Manhattan Academy for Arts and Language are still learning English. Most of them are recent immigrants. The idea of applying and going to college can feel totally foreign. That's where Victoria Del Toro comes in.
Are you going to lose out on that money? No. You call somebody else. So colleges work the same way. So when they email you, they track who responds to what, and they want to know that you're responsible, right?
This is her second full year at the school as part of a program called College Advising Corps.
Come after school today. I'll work on the coming up.
As the school's only dedicated college counselor, her mission is to have all of the school's nearly 400 students believe college is an option. It's a mission that could be challenging in most American high schools, but at Manhattan Academy, few have any friends or relatives who have experience with American higher education.
They still don't think that they're performing at the level that they should be performing at. So they're very aware that they are being compared to other students, and so they know that the language is a barrier.
Andrea Ruiz Diaz came to the U.S. from Paraguay 4 years ago. She was already convinced college was in her future, but the details of how to get there were a mystery.
I wouldn't know about the SATs because when you're an immigrant and you're in America, you're just focusing on learning the language, graduating from high school. You're not really focusing on college yet.
I just need to send my SAT scores.
The type of help Del Toro provides, one-on-one help with choosing schools, help with writing essays, and guiding students through completing paperwork, is what affluent families pay hundreds of dollars for.
There was a need for a person like Victoria to be here to explain certain things. These are families who don't know about the college application process at all.
Del Toro says her hours with students and parents are chipping away at skepticism about the stressful college application process being worth it.
My first year here at Manhattan Academy, it was definitely not like a goal for a student or even a conversation for a student to say, hey, I signed up for the SAT, I'm going to take it. And now I must say, like, when I saw my data and I saw that 94% of my senior class registered for the SAT, I said things are changing in here.
But the goal is not just to get students to apply to any college. Aiming high can make a difference. A growing body of research suggests low-income, first-generation students who have the grades to get into selective schools are more likely to graduate from those colleges than from the local open enrollment campuses where they're still more likely to register.
I have more students applying to private institutions out of the state than ever before.
I definitely wouldn't have considered applying to schools out of state. Like, I've always had that fear of like going out of my house, especially because I'm an immigrant. It feels weird and scary, but I'm open to it now.
There are so many talented students that don't see themselves competitive enough to get
Aileen Monair is director of College Advising Corps' New York office and oversees 24 counselors working in more than 20 high schools across the city.
I think we're definitely working with those students that maybe don't have the social capital to be able to see themselves on campuses that they can really succeed in.
New York high schools the Corps has worked with over time, like Eximius College Prep in the Bronx, are seeing more students enroll at more selective four-year colleges. John Daly partnered with the Advising Corps when he became principal of Eximius 5 years ago.
When I first got here, I couldn't understand the fact that most of the students from the South Bronx here, they were attending Staten Island College. That's where they were going. I was really wondering, why is that happening? Because it's like a 2-hour train ride. And it was because a brother or a sister of some of the students here went there, and then it just seemed like that's where most of the students were going.
Daly says his goal for every student is the best college at the best price.
Being an immigrant myself and being the first person in my family to go to college, I know firsthand how scary that process is and how hard it is to navigate that. And that's why I was like, we need somebody here that can demystify this for the parents.
That focus has given the school a reputation as a promising avenue from the largely low-income South Bronx to high-quality colleges.
We have 4 years to get you into the best college. That's what we'll do. All right?
And the school is making good on that promise. Last year, every graduate was admitted to college. 9 of those 110 grads are at New York University this year with full or substantial financial aid. Tiffany Marte is one of those 9. She says a private university seemed unrealistic before working with her advisor.
It was more of a reach school for me, and by reach I mean like impossible, because it was my dream school. Like, it was in the city. It had all the courses that I wanted to take, but it wasn't something that I thought about.
Her classmate Janine Ware was going to skip filing extra paperwork for private scholarships, but her advisor wouldn't let her off the hook.
The weekend before it was due, I completed it because he texted me and he's like, did you do it? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to a private school. So he really encouraged me to complete it.
Without that prodding, Ware says she wouldn't be where she is today.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.